All right, I'm gonna bias this McIntosh MC275 Mark V. This thing is a big boy. 4K T88s, presumably 2 channels of 100 watts, all tube signal path. Oh, this thing has had a few accidents, but we're gonna go ahead and fire it up. I'm just gonna monitor the current. I just put in new tubes, so I'm gonna see where the current draw is. I'm gonna not let it go above 1.3 amps, so I'll probably back down the bias if these tubes are hotter than that. So let's see, we're set stereo. I've got no input right now. This is just for biasing. This thing's kind of cool because it starts up like this. And this is not mine, just to be clear. This is a friend. I don't do repairs anymore. I'm back into school, so I'm doing this for a friend. Okay, so that's up. Now we're gonna watch the current. It's weird when it first starts up. It always is like at a little over half an amp, and then it kind of ramps up. But if you turn it off and then turn it on again, whoop, it's climbing. 1.4, 0.43. It's still climbing, so let's back this sucker down. Oh, is that the right way? That is. Okay, cool. All right. 1.3. So these tubes are dissipating about, I think, 22 watts. I might have already biased that. I think they're about 22 watts each right now, 23. So let's go ahead and take some measurements. Okay, now let's take some voltage readings here. I'm gonna do plate and screen voltage and current. That is something that is often overlooked because looking at the screen current and draw can be an indicator if something else is going wrong. A lot of people just pay attention to the plate on a fixed bias amp. So let's look at our plate, pin 3, see if I can blow it up, 503, and our screen voltage. I already checked this ahead of time because I'd use a calculator, but 502. It's 0.39. I said 394. So 0.394 across that. We're basically dissipating 0.89 watts at idle across the screen. So I got 501 volts on the tube side, 0.393 volt or voltage drop across that. And it's a 220R resistor, so should be less than a watt dissipated underneath that. So that's about right, that's good. So now I need to go and check our plate dissipation. And for that, I need to switch over to current. I need to reposition the camera, but the current, there's some, whatchamacallem, coils, inductors that are in series with the plates between the transformer and the tube itself. So if we go from there to our red lead, which is right here, that will give us our current. .31, so 31 milliamps. What we got? We got 500. I gotta get a calculator for this. Okay, we're back after calculating that. So it's about 15.6 watts dissipated there. So I plugged in a current that I usually expect to see with the KT88, and it's about 56 milliamps. and I'm going to estimate that the voltage drop is going to come down to about 489 volts. So what we need to do is we need to heat up the bias a bit. Let's check that. Just put us... How many times can I do this before I slip up and kablooey? Okay, we're on amps. Ba-ba-boom. 41 milliamps. Still need to come up quite a bit. And I'm just gonna double check for red plating, give it an ocular pat down. Okay. 47. Let's double check our voltage. So we're at 47 milliamps at, I'm gonna guess, we're somewhere in the 480 volt range. Volts, I'm not on amps, so I'm not shorting the ground. 495, okay. Let's bring it up a little bit more. .8, that's looking more like an amp that has 4 KT88s in it. Let's check our plate voltage again. I'm guessing we're gonna hit 489, mark my words. Check this out. 493, I bet we're right below our 70%. So I'm gonna switch back over to amps. Yep. Steady. 52 milliamps times 493 volts. I gotta go calculate that and double check that we're on the mark, but I think that's pretty close. Stand by. Okay, we're back. That's about 25 watts, so we need a little bit more. And just for funsies, let's check the rest of the tubes, make sure that this one maybe isn't cold for some reason. .51 milliamps. Okay, now we gotta go over to this guy. This one's a little trickier. The connector is a little bit different. I don't know why that is. I don't know if this one maybe just got a little melty and this one is stock, but it makes it a little bit trickier to get that probe in there. So let's check the, there we go. 45 milliamps. .50, okay. So that right-hand tube is a little bit cold, which, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can do to help that at this point. So let's give it just a little bit more of a boost here. Man, that trimmer is really, really sensitive. Okay, 1.9 amps. I think 2 amps is about what you want to see at idle draw, like a 100 watt. Ooh, something. 100 watt Marshall should be drawing about, like biased properly, should be drawing about an amp, a little bit over an amp, I think. Okay. All right. Now taking bets to see if we end up at 489. I can guarantee you that's what our voltage dropped to. All right. Back on volts, not current. Move my thing over. 491. This is going to be the money right here. Back to current. Let's check our hottest tube, which happened to be the first one. Okay, amps. We're switched over. .57. Interesting. 57. So I gotta go calculate that, but that's pretty much gonna put us, back it off just a hair. We're at 192, it's heating up. Okay. All right, I just backed it off a little bit, just watching idle current, so we're pretty much at 70%. Let's take one final measurement. I'm probably not going to touch it from here, but let's see. Take one final current measurement. Amps, good to go. Red wire. 55. Now, let's go back to DC volts. Go to plate. Okay, we're definitely not shorting the ground. Awesome. 492. So 492 times 0.055, whatever that is. I'll calculate that and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So here are my measurements that I took. Plate voltage 492, grid 2 491, grid 1 negative 55. Plate dissipation 27 watts, and grid 2 dissipation is 0.89 watts. So now I've got this hooked up for our output measurement. Probably have to back this down. I've just got my little signal generator here. And I'm gonna have to use that to drive this. Hopefully I've got enough juice. What are we at? 1.4 volts. We got a lot to go. Let's go over here. I'm gonna have to scale it. 3.8. Let's see, I'm gonna put the phone down. Let's look at the O-scope here. Okay. Scale it some more. It's gonna be a big girl. Oh. Okay, it starts to clip. Where are we at? 19.4 volts at 4 ohms. That's 100 watts. Yeah. Okay. Bring it back down. Turn that off and stand by while I switch it over to the other channel. Yeah, my one gripe with this tone generator is the fact that, where are we at? 100 watts. Yeah, my one gripe with it is the fact that it doesn't have fine control, and sometimes you have to scroll over to go, because it'll go like 10.1 and it changes the decimal. So that's kind of annoying. It'd be nice to just have a continuous thing, but for what it is, it works pretty well. But there you go. Let's go ahead and write that down. And that is a McIntosh MC275. Fully biased and tested. All right, here it is all plugged up. I'll play a sound sample. You obviously won't be able to tell much from a camera mic, but sounds like a tube amp. Sounds like KT88 kind of has that sweet mid-range to it. Kind of juicy. So anyway, I'll play some of my music since it's not copyrighted. And anyway, here we go.